All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's take a look at the signs and symbols of the day, shall we? We start out with the Seeker, which would be the Hermit in any other deck. So we have strong Virgo energy. We may have somebody that is literally like sitting on a porch swing or some kind of like papasan chair, and it looks like somebody who likes to sit out in the cooler night air. Now, this person may be fairly patriotic, whatever country or culture they hail from. We do actually see the American flag here. But this is somebody who's maybe even contemplating things like um, loyalties, patriotism, or just contemplating like where they live, contemplating, like a location. To me, flags just represent a specific location, but frankly, as long as we're on planet Earth, we're all home. It's so crazy to me that we divide everything up when it's like we're all on the same planet, guys. We all got nowhere else to go. So I'm not sure why humans instantly want to draw lines and boundaries when it's like you do realize this is the only habitable planet and we're all here and we all share it, right? It's madness to me. But Magician upright. That is again a dose of Virgo, associated also with some Gemini. This is a character who's in deep contemplative thought because they want to make something better. They maybe want to make their community better. They want to make the world better. They really are thinking heavily. And they're coming up with, I think, a pretty great idea, something that could be very positive. The magician's going to manifest good things. They're not going to manifest terrible things, not when they're in the upright like this. We have the Wheel of Fate here. Now, it's actually the Wheel of Fortune, fate, however we want to say it, but it's definitely got to do with divine timing. Somebody could see a Ferris wheel, or maybe even just like a child's toy that looks like a Ferris wheel or something. And that could be, again, a positive symbol of the day of changing things, positive ideas becoming positive outcomes. Once in a while, we don't get divine inspiration until the moment is right where the divine inspiration is needed. Sometimes we don't ask ourselves the right questions until we get to a point where we go, I need to find an answer because I don't like X, Y, or Z. So let me find a solution. Usually, I think our greatest motivator, I think, in most situations is discomfort. If things are really comfortable, we don't make much change, positive or negative. When we get uncomfortable, we start getting motivated to change. And it just feels like if we have a character doing some deep thought about, I'd like things to be better, things need to get better, I need to think about how I can contribute to making things better. Now our character is on this positive, like generating cycle of my motive is I'm uncomfortable with something. I want to see it get better. Now I have this positive inspiration, this positive drive. The stimuli might be negative, but it's creating a positive action, which is let me find a good solution. Let me find a divine answer. Let me do something that would be inspirational, that would improve my life, the lives of others. Let me improve things. And sure enough, it's like, aha, this was all supposed to go this way. Sometimes we have to get fed up and disgruntled with things before we make positive change, before we say, no. This has to be better than this. This needs to get better. We have Mercury. So we have communication incoming. There could be emails, text messages. There could be a flood of valuable information going back and forth. If we have a character who's getting this great idea and then they want to share it and the wheels of their mind are turning, I do feel like somebody's got a very active mind. I'm picturing somebody who wants to, they get really hungry. All of a sudden they don't eat for a lot of hours because their mind has been busy. I mean, this could be somebody who has a sleepless night, but they may come to a great idea in the middle of the night. And by the following morning, they're like, they've already been working on this for 3 or 4 hours. But I feel like somebody needs to remember to eat because they might have been very, very busy all night long thinking. And, then they wake up in the morning and they're hours ahead of everybody else because they've got this idea. They've already been, writing things out, tapping it out, putting together a letter, a paragraph. We do have the rooster here. This could be somebody who's very inspired to get up and write anything. Communication can be many, many things. This could be a poet. This could be a songwriter. This could be somebody who they just can't help it. They're up all night long and they're coming up with these ideas, and they've got to put pen to paper, and then they've got to take action and maybe share that with somebody, share their ideas with someone. This is super positive. All of this is like, all it's going to do is make the world a better place. Is our character like proud of this? Yes, that's why we have the rooster. Now, I was raised as a chicken farmer, so I really like poultry as a whole. And I know anytime we see roosters, like, oh, you know, somebody's cocky, somebody. But actually, if you really look at them, they're so beautiful. The roosters in particular are really lovely creatures. And I always think they don't look cocky to me. They do look like they stand proud. But I think many animals have like a very proud countenance. And it's because you're seeing just like this, you know, like they're doing the things that they were bred to do, built to do, made to do. They're just living their lives in their own, you know, grace and power. And I don't know why I think that that's important, but I do feel what our character does, and this could be a masculine, doesn't have to be, but so far we've seen exclusively masculine cards. Whatever he writes, you notice this is somebody who's kind of like shy then to share it. But I have to say, this is the best of them. This idea is brilliant. The poetry is brilliant. The song is brilliant. Whatever this character has done, even though they're jazzed about it, they've come up with these ideas, they have these brilliant ideas, but then to actually go ahead and share their thoughts, they're a little shy about that. And I think that this says, don't be. We've got this rooster, and he looks more like kind of like he's reverted back to a jungle fowl, you know, really, really ornate, really lovely, you know, iridescent tail feathers there. We have alchemy and we have rhetoric. I definitely feel like whatever he's saying, whatever he's doing, whatever he's come up with, it is brilliant, and it is something that will actually bring clarity and peace and momentum. This could be somebody who's like penned the greatest like story ever, and it will be allegorical, and it will, you know, change people's minds and hearts. Or this could be someone who it definitely feels like it's going to be powerful, and it feels like it could change talking points or something. You know, think about like music has always been tremendously influential. I mean, think of like Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come. You know, think about some of the really momentous pieces of music that we all, you know all the words to and we sing to, and, you know, and that they were written during times of great change. There's a lot of music that has, you know, really culturally reflected things that were going on, and like sentiments, and, you know, there's a lot of different songs that I could point to, but we're not going to go all the way down. I love music. So my brain has a lot of music in it right now, especially. But I feel like this doesn't have to be about music. I'm just using that as an example. But we have somebody who really needs to say something. Now, could this all be about love? Sure. But that first card made me think it's not. It's about bigger things. Not that love isn't huge, but I almost feel like this is more a story of someone who's got beautiful ideas on how to make the world a better place, the environment that they live in a better place. And I feel like they'll be able to bring people together and maybe cut through, you know, divisions and rhetoric that would keep people apart. I feel like they have just captured something that will bring people together. Now, again, I feel like music is a great way to do that, just because no matter what culture you're from, like, music moves all of us. I don't think I could live in a world without it. We've got the waxing moon. All of this says, remember at the beginning, sitting there also on that crescent moon, there's something very important here. This is a character's, they have a wonderful contribution to make, a wonderful contribution. And it's something that I think this idea, however simple they may think it is, I think it will have the capacity to like catch hold and make tremendous change. And this will be like their magnum opus, but it will be this one divine divine inspired idea. Let's take this at a smaller level because we're talking about it like it's going to change the world. Maybe it will, but let's put it at a smaller scale and say we have a character who is really wanted to talk to a particular person. They have needed to find the right words. They haven't known what to say, but they've come to the conclusion, I must tell somebody how I really feel. And now that I've thought about it, I figured out the way to tell them how I really feel. I figured out the way to express what I really want to say, which is I want peace and harmony. I want to fuse my energy together with you. I don't want, petty arguments and things to break us apart. And I think that simplified it. Sometimes the best things we could ever say are the simplest things, the truest things. But it feels like once this character has done this, then they kind of like withdraw and they go, okay, well, that was it. That was my big magnum opus. That was my great thought, my great idea. That was the star that fell from my lips. And I hope it was enough to change hearts or to convey what I meant to say. It's a little bit like this character has to do this thing, then release it into the world and be like, I don't know what's going to happen. I sent the email. I sent the letter. I shared my idea. I sent this, up the chain of command so that, the speech could be, conveyed. I whatever, posted the letter to the editor so that my idea could be read by my community. I did what I could, and now I just step back and I see what happens. We definitely have, like, I'm picturing, just because of this, power symbol here, I'm picturing like I don't know, maybe like a courthouse or a bank, or like somebody is going to a courthouse or a bank, because we see pillars here also that make me think of courthouses and banks. We see it on 2 of the cards. So it just kind of, there's something here that's coming across like, this, the way they convey this is very proper, or it's, it is said with gravity, let's put it that way. And by the way, we did have a trombone up here. That's also one of the reasons my mind kept going toward music, even though I didn't mention that part. Somebody could listen to a horn section, horn music. There's that great song by Typhoon called Honest Truth, and there's a great horn section in that, but there's also great lyrics in that. Be kind to all your neighbors, because they're just like you, and you're nothing special unless they are too. It's a nice song in general. But I don't know, this feels like, I think our character said something that was very true for themselves. They could stand on that hill, because we have the dog here. Somebody could see a black and white spotty dog. But this is someone who's like, you know what? I put my ideas out into the world, or I shared my thoughts with somebody, or with everyone. And you know what? I'm loyal to that thought that I had. This is what I really meant to say. I've said it as plainly as I can. That was my contribution, and that's all I can say. Well, I think that what they did, what they said, because it was so divinely inspired and it was so beautiful, we got the 3 of cups, or 3 of water. I think that this is going to be extremely well received by a person or by many people. This looks beautiful. We've got water flowing, we've got dialogue, we've got things wash and clean. I don't know. I feel like by the time this character sends off this email, and then maybe they go about their business and they go take a shower or something, by the time they get out of the shower, they could have some really lovely responses that are coming back to them, either from a person, if they sent this to this is definitely them sending a message. Okay, with Mercury, we know that they're sending the message, and it's true, and it's humble, and it's beautiful, and it's about finding peace, and it's about being together in a peaceful environment. They want life to be better for themselves, or for themselves and another person. This could be a love letter that they send, but ultimately it is very well received. And I feel like by the time they get out of the shower, they already are having some kind of positive reaction. I don't know if somebody writes them back immediately. We have the Merchant. This is like, I am definitely buying what you're selling. This could be, they suddenly have an invitation, please come see me, please come and collaborate with us. We love your idea. look, this could have all been about business. This could have all been about like city planning. It could have been anything at the only reason I've been talking about this like not in a love context very much is because this first card kind of gives us this impression that it's about something that is bigger. It's possibly well, all these cards were big cards, you know? So I'm picturing that this could be somebody who's like, you know, they've come up with this idea and they decided to share it with the head of the company that they work for. And they're like, okay, this could be the dumbest thing I ever do. Me sending out this early morning email saying, I think I have a solution to our problem. You know, here's this idea. I think it would work great for everyone. They could be like shy to send it because it's like, ugh, this could be foolish on my part. But I don't think so. I think it's super well received. I think that it makes other people want to work with this person. I feel like it's brilliant. And like I said, it's something very true. It's something that this person is very heartfelt. Whomever this, I'm going to say this masculine is, who sends out this message, it's very real. They really mean it, whatever this idea is that they're sharing, whatever their sentiments are. It comes across very truthful. And we do have the emperor, the businessman. This looks like, I think that this is a life-changing thing. I feel like he is going to be more well respected. This could be like, if this is about love and he sends this message to somebody that he cares a great deal about, the way they receive this message, they know that they're hearing the words from his heart. They know that. That's why instantly it's like, I want to talk to you. I want to see you. That Three of Cups says, I don't just want to receive an email from you. I loved your email. I loved what it said. Now I want to talk to you. I want to see you. You know, can I come see you or will you come see me? Let's set up a date. You know, the traveling merchant here, it's like, come over. But it's also like this newfound respect for this character. So if this is somebody that they send, you know, a proclamation of love to, all I can say is that proclamation is very well received and they are looked at as like someone very respectable. It really, I know it seems scary for him to send this letter or scary for him to put his thoughts out there or scary for him, you know, maybe he's feeling like I'm, you know, who am I to have this grand idea? But it says, who are you? You're an emperor. You've got a very fine mind. You've got beautiful thoughts, and those thoughts should be shared. I definitely feel like he has not realized what a, you know, what a sophisticated set of thoughts he has to share, or sophisticated ideas, or problem solving skills. And I think this is him putting himself out there, and it's being very well received. And I think it's very timely too. It's something that was needed. We have the Six of Air and we have the Five of Earth. I think it's really going to go a long way also for his own self-esteem. I think if he has been feeling like he didn't have much to offer, right? He started out as a hermit. Hermits are off by themselves. If he didn't think he had much to offer, he couldn't be more wrong. And I think it's going to be a big turning point for him as well. It's very much a story of a divine masculine who has a lot to offer, who just hadn't realized how well received his ideas, his unique perspectives are, how much his ideas are needed, or his thoughts are wanted, or how much his energy is wanted, how truly welcomed he would be. Somebody really needs his energy. And I feel like this is a big shot of self-esteem for him to finally feel like, oh wow, I didn't know it'd be so well received. That feels really nice. And it's like, yeah, he's really needed. By the way, somebody could see an owl. Also, this is always my New York City card. I always look at that and I see New York on that card. Even here, it's like a New York City, like kind of retro building. But anyway, just some other side notes there. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Bye.